Hi and welcome to the second video of this series, how to set up QuickBooks for your not-for-profit. In my previous video, we did a quick setup of a not-for-profit organization and we enabled the classes, location and project functions in our QuickBooks account. Today we'll be looking at creating a project, and we'll also be looking at creating and allocating income to a project. And in our case, this means a specific grant. We'll also be looking at creating or allocating an expense to our grant, and also be looking at some of the reports. So, to begin, we will click on Project. If you haven't set up a project yet, then you will see a different screen to mine. You can start your first project from that screen by just clicking on the New Project button. Today, I have already created a project or a grant, and I'll be showing you how to add an additional project or grant. So, to do that, you go to the New Project button, you click on that, and you just start by adding your grant name. Grant 102, it will be in our case. Also, if you haven't created a donor before, you won't be able to select from the drop-down box, but you are able to create one by just typing the name. I'm going to name this one Department of Grant 102, just so that we know that's together. You can add additional details in here if you want to do it at this time, or you can do it later. I will do it later. I'm just going to add the name and just save. If you have any additional notes you want to add, you can do it here, and then when you're done, save. So that is your first project created, in my case the second one. If you want to navigate back to the list of all the grants you have, you can either do so by clicking All Projects, and there you can see all the grants, or if you're in a different view or anything, you just navigate by clicking on the Projects button on the left hand side, and then you'll be brought back to this screen as well. If you wanted to add some income to the grant, you can either do so in the first instance by clicking this invoice button here, or by clicking here and saying New Invoice. Mostly you'll probably be doing it from here, so I'm going to show you how to do it from here. So you click New Invoice. Okay. So select your donor. For projects or grant reporting purposes, you will click into the project. As you can see, here it is the Department of Grant, which is the donor, and then the project. So when you create an invoice, you select into the project name. This will ensure that this invoice will be allocated to that project or that grant that you've made up. Then we'll add in, I'm not going to add in an email here, we'll see if it will complain about it. And then also if you have online payments and everything like that, you can click that. I don't think it will be applicable to you. Payment terms, we'll say 15 days. Well, in our previous video, we've enabled the locations function and the class function. So that is why there's this location drop down. If you have locations and you want to use it, you can add it in here. I'm not going to do that. Also, products and services. I have created one that says grant income. You don't have to create one, or if you have actual products and services, you can create it, but I'm not going to show you that today. Here we can say grant income just as a description. You add your amount in here. Let's say 30,000. No, that's 300,000. Okay, I'll leave it 300,000. So 300,000 grant income received on this day, and that is all you have to do. If you want, you can add an attachment here. You can add additional messages and notes, but that is all I'm going to do. I'm just going to say save. Okay, it didn't complain, so you can close. As you can see, it's taken you to that project screen again, and you still are in grant 102, or in your case, whatever grant you've created. And you can see here your income that's allocated to that grant. Next, we will be adding expenses. So again, you can add expenses by clicking this button here, or by clicking new and then just clicking on expense or bill, however way you are doing your expenses. I'm just going to click on this one, expense, and it takes you to the expense screen. Here you can add your payee. I've set up a phone supplier, so we're going to pay a phone supplier, and we're going to pay it from our bank account. You can choose whatever account you're paying it from, and the date, and what did you pay with. Did you pay cash? Did you pay check? Did you pay card? Did you pay direct debit? Mostly will be direct debit. For instance, my bank. If it's cash, you will probably have another account called cash. That's the one I am selecting. Any reference numbers, again locations if you have any locations, and by default it's already know that I have a telephone like that because I've done one in my previous grant that I've created, so that's why it's already selected this. But in our case, if you haven't done anything, you can select the category from here, different lists. This is all your accounts. We are doing a telephone one. Add a description. We're paying a telephone bill with $75. Billable. This is if you are doing billable expenses. In this video, I'm not going to do billable expenses, but I will be going over billable expenses in another video for you if you are interested in that. Donor and project. So with the expense side of things, you have to click on this one to allocate this expense to the donor or the project. So we are wanting to allocate it to a project, and we are only wanting to allocate it to project 102. So that is what we are going to click. We are not using classes in this instance, and that is all we have to do. You can add your bill in here, and we can save and close. And that is your first expense allocated to your grant. So that's how you add expenses, that's how you add income. I'm not going to cover time in this video. If you want me to go over that, I will do that in another video. Let me know in the comments. And you can see from this screen that this is the income, this is the cost, and that's the funds available still for this grant. You can click here to see the transactions that's allocated to that specific grant. And then this one I will be covering in a different video. Like I said, we're not doing that. And you can run some quick reports from this screen. This one as well, you can see the profitability, which is not what we're looking at, but you can see how your money has been spent by clicking on this project profitability report. And you can just select the dates and all the columns that you want to include from here and run the report. I'm doing all this on this today, so I don't need to fill anything. It will allocate all the transactions that I've done for today to this report. So this is how the report is going to look, and you can see there it's the sales and then expenses, telephone, $75. So if you added more expenses, it will show a bit more detail. And that is all the reports I think you need for this. And that is all I'll be covering today. If you would like to join me in the next video, I'm going to post it in a week's time. We'll be going over at funding in advance, because now we've just added the income to the grants, but we haven't covered how we are looking at the funding in advance side of things. So I'll be going over that in the next video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.